Hey, Talofa Lava. This is Leah Tawa, Dr. John Peterson with TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Hope everybody's doing well. It is Tuesday night, June 28th, and I have lost track of how many episodes I have done on YouTube. Probably getting up to close to 100 now. You'd think I'd have more subscribers at this point. I think I've got like 56, which hey, trust me, I value every single one of you subscribers. You'll be the original 56 when this blows up and goes totally viral and I end up with millions of subscribers. Ha ha ha. But yeah, no, I really appreciate the people that have been checking out the channel. Got a really nice message from someone today. A couple messages, couple comments. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a teacher by trade. I'm an educator, and so a lot of what I've spent my career doing is teaching and learning too. So anything that can be helpful to you in terms of your hobby experience as a collector, as an investor, as a dealer, all of the above, I'm happy to share. A couple things. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Please hit that. If you're watching the videos, subscribe. I watch videos for people like Sports Card Dad, and I subscribe. I don't really watch a ton on my computer. Usually it's on the television set, so I don't comment a lot. But if I watch somebody consistently on YouTube, a content creator, Sports Card Dad, Neo Cards and Comics, I always subscribe just to let them know that I appreciate them putting the time in. I'm guessing you don't get rich doing YouTube videos. I'm guessing you get a little bit of money for the advertisement, but not much. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the like button. I get a couple people that like different stuff. And hit the notification bell. TE2 is a consulting firm. TE2 Edge Sports Cards is the sports card aspect of it. I am an online dealer. I run this through my LLC, which again is TE2 Consulting. So this is a business for me. So do I have some cards that I, PC? Yeah, I do. Let me give you an example. Here's a couple cards that I consider to be PC, but nonetheless are for sale. 54 Topps Jackie Robinson, and 55 Topps Sandy Koufax. So not super valuable cards. I'd say the Koufax is probably $1,000 to $1,150, and the Robinson, maybe $450 to $500 in the current market. It was closer to $750 about 4 months ago, but it's dropped a little bit. But classic, iconic cards. There's a story that goes with each of these cards that I'd be happy to tell sometime in a different episode. The story of the Koufax is really a cool story. So, So I've got some cards that are kind of PC-ish, but honestly, every single thing that I have slabbed is for sale. I don't really keep anything or hold anything back. Cards are meant to be enjoyed. And part of what I love about the hobby is helping other people feel good about the hobby. And if I have a card that I can sell that as a dealer is fair, I'm more than happy to sell that card to someone who will really enjoy it. I've been blessed with many cards over the years, and feel really fortunate to be able to help make people feel happy, because that's really what it comes down to. And that comes back to you in life. Karma is a real thing, at least for me it is. And I really enjoy sending cards off. I've sent some cards off to people who have told me stories that, that card was their dad's favorite player, but they never had the finances to be able to ever purchase that card. I think it might have been an 81 Joe Montana rookie card in a PSA 4. And this guy was so excited and so grateful. And he said, I'm going to pass this down to my daughter, who's a 49ers fan, So it's really, that's the vibe that I'm on. I do need to make money on this. And but I'm not trying to get rich, you know, and whatever I end up keeping, if I should pass away, goes into my trust, goes into, or is in my trust and goes into estate, trust and estate, or estate and trust is what it's called. And yeah, and then my beneficiaries can figure out what to do with all the cards. Like this 1993 Fleer Ultra Baseball Series 1 that we're about to break open and chase some cards in. So anyway, enough of that. Not really a soapbox, but just kind of sharing my thinking on things. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that. You know, I watched Sports Card Dad here about 20 minutes ago, and he was really keeping it real about breakers. Not nothing negative, not anything negative against breakers, but the high cost of speculating and prospecting in these ultra modern boxes for stuff that just probably for the most part is not going to hold its value. So again, it's high risk, in some cases lower reward, unless you hit the Nike Logo Man card or NBA Logo Man card. But even then, you know, is that card going to continue to hold its value at $2.5 million? Yeah, likely not. So just like they say, sell high, buy low, sell high. I'm a firm believer of low risk, high reward as much as you can, rather than high risk, low reward. Every once in a while I do some high risk, and sometimes the returns are lower. But for the most part, I stick to a philosophy that you purchase first and foremost what you can afford. And that's different for everyone. All right, so everyone's finances look different. The first thing you got to do is make sure you're covering your mortgage, your bills, your rent, your gasoline, your food costs. Take care of your family first and foremost. You can't eat cards. I mean, you can't even really get any heat from burning them should the heat go out in the middle of the winter time. And they're not really good fans, so they don't keep you cool because they're too small. So they're not a proxy for air conditioning or for a fan in your bedroom. So number one, buy what you can afford within your budget. Stay within your budget. Two, buy what you like. All right, so if you like cards of players that you knew when you were a kid growing up, like this 93 Fleer Ultra Series 1, then stick to what you like. I like vintage. Even though I wasn't a kid when this card came out and when this guy played, I love the look of these cards. There's something about this era that really I'm drawn to. So this is the second year 1960 Topps Bob Gibson. You know, it had an $80 sticker on it. I got it for a little less than that. I really love this card. It's a second year card. All right. So if I don't sell this ever, I'm going to be happy that I still have this card. Same can be said for this 1960 Topps Rocky Colavito. Love that card. Now I'll get that graded, and it'll probably come back as a 7. And I'll put a sticker on it for, oh boy, maybe 35 bucks, 40 bucks. I might make $5-10 on this card. But the process of finding it, getting it for a good price, getting it graded, putting it onto my slabs and or eBay, and selling it to someone who highly values it. I mean, this might be somebody's big PC card in their collection. You never know. Maybe they're a Cleveland Indians fan. The process is something that you have to enjoy. And if you don't enjoy the process, then you either have to offload parts of the process that you don't like, that don't bring you joy, or not do it, right? So I love working with cards. It is great for passing the time. It makes me feel good, so I do it. So there's that. So buy what you like. And then 3, if you're looking to flip cards, that's when the low risk, high reward piece comes in, right? Not everybody's got vintage just sitting around. So you got to look for opportunities to either buy things on eBay or my slabs that are somewhat low priced, depressed, just like you would with a house that needs fixing up. Do a little fix up on it, touch it up a little bit with, wipe it down, don't trim it, don't press it, don't marker it up, don't do any of that stuff, because that's all totally unethical and below bar. But pick it up, put it in a nice sleeve, and if you decide to sell it raw, sell it raw. You can sell it in a lot, or you can sell it as a single, or you can get it graded. All right, now some of the cards that I've gotten graded, some I don't. Let me give you some examples. So right now I'm running an auction on eBay. I've got probably 20, 25 cards on eBay. They're all vintage and they're all raw. Believe it or not everybody wants graded cards. So don't grade all your cards. Get a couple different piles going. Cards that you want to keep raw and resell. Cards that are on the fence. You're not sure if you want to sell them raw or if you want to sell them graded. Then you have your cards that you definitely want to get graded, right? The stuff that's in nicer condition, I like to get graded. If it's a 4 or less, unless it's a big card, I don't typically get it graded. All right, so I'm going to give you some examples. You can find me on eBay at RJP2532. And to find the TE2 cards, you just hit TE2 up in the search bar, and you'll be able to find all the cards that I've got listed there. I've had everything from 1 card to 120 cards on eBay. So right now I just got mostly raw vintage. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. 1958 Duke Snider. Decided to sell it raw on an auction. Might not get a ton for this. Might only get $10, but it's not a card that I want to keep, and it's not a card that I want to grade. Why? It's not because I don't like Duke Snider. Duke Snider is an all-time great, probably a top 10 all-time center fielder, in the same era as Mantle and Mays. But I'm not particularly fond of the photograph, and I'm not particularly fond of a lot of the photographs in the 58 set. That's why it's not one of my top sets in terms of what I like. It's got some snowing on it, and it's off-centered. And to me, the first thing I look for when I buy vintage that I want to get graded, either to keep or to flip, is the centering. So you'll see a lot of these cards here. It's a 63 Topps Gibson, not centered. I'm gonna actually flip these over, keep them in order. 59 Topps Sandy Koufax. Now, for people who don't mind the centering issue, this card's pretty decent. Picture looks good. Corners aren't terrible. No creases. So somebody who doesn't really mind the centering piece, they're gonna pick this card up. 55 Bowman Pee Wee Reese. Another good example of a card that's not centered but has some decent corners to it. 65 Topps Aaron. 62 Topps Aaron. Second year Harmon Killebrew, 56 Topps. Outside of the centering, this is probably a 5. Maybe a 5.5 in CSG. I don't think it's a 6 though. But the centering brings it down, right? But if you don't care about the centering, not a bad card. This is a great example of a raw card. I don't think you should get this card graded. Some people do, and some people will, but for me, I would never grade this card because grading it doesn't bring it any additional aesthetic value. Couldn't you sell it for another $30-40 more if you get it graded? Yeah, possibly. But a lot of people don't want to buy graded vintage that's low grade, low condition. So you get an idea. Some Topps Super Glossy, 1970. Picked these up at a shop. Kind of oddball. Now you might think, wow, you didn't get that O.J. Simpson graded? No, look at the back. Right up on top there's a little card loss, a little notching. So no, I'm not going to get that graded. Somebody can have it raw. 3D, Kellogg's. Johnny Unitas. I thought about getting this one graded, but look at the corners. Yeah, and there's a little mark down here, a little cut. Pujols, game-worn jersey, chipping on the back. So, yeah, you get it graded. It's almost impossible to flip that. 72 Topps, Mays. 72 Topps, Mays in action. I love this card of Willie Mays. Look at how big his forearms are. He's ripped, and his hands are enormous. No wonder he hit 660 home runs. Hit 3,200 or 3,300 hits or whatever that was. Ed Matthews. Aaron Close's World Series homer. 58 Topps. So, yeah, I could have gotten this graded, and I thought about it. However, if I get this graded, it's harder to flip, right? If I put it up in an auction, I have no problem selling this card. And I might get, $30, $40 less for not grading it, but I also don't have to pay the fee for grading it, pay the postage, wait a month, that sort of thing. I can just pop it into an auction after I take the pictures, and I'm good to go. Rival Fence Busters, that's a fun card. And then this 58 Koufax. So for me, those are all cards that are going to be, or are currently being auctioned off on eBay raw. What are some examples of things that I would have graded? All right, well, let's take a look at this stack over here. '90 score Bo. Why will I get these graded? Because there's a chance that they could gem out. And if there's a chance that the card can gem out and it's a modern card that has a decent resale value, send it in. Send it into CSG, not PSA. All right, don't get me wrong. I'm not sending these cards into PSA. I'm sending these into CSG before the 5th of July. I'll get them at about $10 a card because I'm a member. This card here, let's say it comes back as a 9. 15, 20 bucks on it. Break even. Comes back as a 10, 40 bucks. 40, 35, 40, 50 bucks. Right? Small wins. These Pinnacle, 92 Pinnacle Griffies. First of all, it's a great looking card. It's one of the better. I like it better than the Team 2000 card. Here's the Team 2000, which is an insert. Look at this Bonds. Look at that photograph. So some of these you've already seen. Even the Jeff Kent card's pretty cool. Look, boring old Jeff Kent. So those are cards that I'll get graded because I think it's worth it, and I think somebody's going to want to buy those. I just sold on my slabs about 20 minutes ago an 86 Topps traded Barry Bonds. So I sent this one in. I thought I had a chance at a 10. Didn't make it, which was kind of disappointing. I didn't see really what the issue was with this card, but let's be honest, PSA is getting pretty arbitrary with their grading. They're suppressing the gem rate, I think artificially, but I guess that's just my opinion. But I spent 50 bucks to get this graded, and probably in, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks for the box, 86 Topps traded box. So I'll take a loss on this. I sold it for 33 bucks on my slabs, but you have to remember that if you hang on to stuff in the hopes that you're going to get all of what you put into it back and or then some, you're not going to be moving your inventory. So I found a buyer for this. He offered 30. I had it for 40. I countered with 33. Boom, selling this card. And I can redeploy that $33 into something else. So I would recommend, you're not going to win every time. It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. You're going to take some L's. You're also going to get some dubs along the way, but you know, you gotta no risk it, no biscuit. What I will say is try and keep your risk as low as you can, right? Try to mitigate the risk. Shelter yourself from risk whenever you can. So, nice card. Sold it for 33 bucks. There'll be another opportunity to get a gem because I've got some more of these. So there's that. Make sure I get that sent out. And I love my slabs because if I had not sold it on my slabs, I would have been paying a hefty fee to sell it on Feebay. I think Feebay is taking quite a bite out of the apple with their various fees that they have. So there's that. We're at the 20-minute mark, and I wanted to talk a little bit about 93 Fleer Ultra. 93 Fleer Ultra. How many people remember the Ultra product? It came out as a premium product back in the early 90s. And I think the first year of Fleer Ultra was 92, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is the second year. I've got it pulled up here on PSA. Okay, you can see that there's been 407 sales for $8,368. Of course, there's a relatively low pop count. Let's see here. Yeah, they've PSA's graded 2,169, and there have been 1,071 gem mint 10s, so it's close to 50%. It's a pretty good gem rate. But what I wanted to show you here is when you look at this, I'm gonna zoom in here, and you click on 10, you can see there's a couple chase cards in here, in particular the Martinez rookie card, which gems out at $134.95, and the Piazza, which gems out at $125. Right, and then there's some other decent cards. There's a McGriff in there. I wouldn't get that graded though. Frank Thomas, third-year card. Let's see here, what else? McGuinn's 45. Bo Jackson's 46. That's with the White Sox. There's a Ramirez rookie card. So you might think to yourself, geez, 93 Fleer Ultra. That's a great card. Look at Manny, rookie card. So, and I don't have that, right? Look at that number, 59, that's beautiful. So point being, there's some decent cards. Here's the Griffey. This is kind of an iconic Griffey. Look at that. How great is that? Now you get that in a Gem 10, you put 50 bucks on it, somebody's gonna pick that up. Get it in a 9, put 20, 25 bucks on it, you know? So there's two series with this Fleer Ultra 93 stuff. This is series 1. So this would have the Piazza and the Martinez. And the series 2 would have the Griffey, the Nolan Ryan, and some of those other goats. So I thought what we would do, I was going to do series 1, but now that I think about it, let's take a look at opening some packs from series 2. I'm going to swap this out. And the reason why I want to open some packs from series 2 is there are some inserts in series 2 that you don't find in series 1. I think there's actually twice as many inserts. So let's see if we can chase a few inserts here. I won't open up the whole box, but let's break this open and see what we can come up with. Let me back things up here a bit. All right, let me rip this plastic off. And the feature was Eckersley. These two cards pop out, which is kind of cool. So you got 93 Fleer, Series 2. You might ask, how much did I pay for this? $25. So, is that low risk? Yeah, it's low risk. Low risk is definitely 25. Here are the packs. Okay. I don't believe I bought any of these that I recall. I like to pull the packs out. Slide these over, center them up a little bit. Okay, let's see what we can find here. So we're looking for inserts. Doesn't sound like they're bricked at all, which is great news. Oftentimes with the glossy finish on the cards, they end up getting bricked if they have been subjected to temperature changes, variations in the humidity, that sort of thing. So, and usually you can figure out a way to get them unbricked without damaging the cards, but it's painstakingly slow. All right, so here's a look at this, the first two cards. How about that? So we've got a Nolan Ryan Strikeout King, which is a cool insert. Look at that. Not super fancy, but I mean, Nolan Ryan. 4 of 5. And then the second card, Manny, rookie card, who should be in the Hall. All right, so let's go through these. So 93, I would have been 18. I graduated high school in 93. And I can tell you that when I was a senior in high school, I was way more interested in sports and friends and my girlfriend than I was in baseball cards. So I don't recall ever buying any of the 93 Fleer Ultra baseball cards. I bought some of the 93 Fleer Ultra basketball, mostly because I was chasing at that time Shaq. Oh, wait a second. Now this card, that's an error card. Why is that an error card? There's no name on it. So let's keep that out. That might be worth something. 465, it should be, unless it's a common error. Huh, okay, well, never know. Have to look it up. Yeah, it's part of the reason why I do these box breaks, these junk wax box breaks, is some people like to, they really want to open up packs of cards, but they don't have access to the wax. So, hey, I don't mind opening it up on camera, doing a video. Got the Mets and the Astros on right now. They're on the top of the 7th. Astros are up 9-0. Pretty nice cards. Borderless. He was a good player. He was an all-star a couple years. He was a wild man, Dibble. Boy, he could throw hard. Look at that. 2 Tromblies in the same pack. Let's hope the next doubles are of Griffey. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Griffey, 90s Griffey junkie. I really like the way his cards look. Of course, I really like the way he played. I think he was the player of the decade in the 90s. Him or Bonds. Whitaker. Wild Thing, Mitch Williams. There's a Sandberg. Let's see what the gem rate is on Sandberg, 320. 2750. So could I get this graded? Yeah, but if it comes back as a 9, I'm probably not going to be able to sell it for 15 bucks. So I'm not going to get it graded. I'm better off selling it raw or selling it in the lot or using it as part of a set builder. I always like to have PSA, the set, and you know, APR 10 or 9. If it's modern stuff like this, I usually go with 10. If it's older stuff, I usually go with 9, and if it's vintage, I go with 7 or 8. There's Dante Bichette, Bo Bichette's dad. There's a McGuire. It's a 609. Let's see what McGuire is. 18 bucks. Worth getting graded? Probably not. Unless you can guarantee that this is gem mint, it's not worth it. Or unless you're a huge McGuire fan. If you just love McGuire, then get it graded. Andre the Hawk Dawson. Shoot, I didn't even know he played for the Red Sox. Must have been at the very end of his career. His rookie year was 76. And, yeah, good player. I think he's one of just a few people, maybe 10, to do 400 home runs and 400 steals. Here's an insert. Oh, this is a rookie card. Tim Salmon. He actually was a decent player. Not worth getting graded. Cecil Fielder, Prince Fielder's dad. Big Cess. All right, now this. So here's a couple things about this card. This guy's an all-time great. Super popular. Decent photo, right? He's fielding, which is fine. He played shortstop, so that makes sense. It's card number 501. 30 bucks. So this comes back as a gem 10, it's $30. Is it worth getting graded? Probably not. Probably not, unless you have a little extra money and you're trying to draw down your income a little bit by deducting the professional grading service fees. But would this card look cool in a CSG slab? Oh, hell yes it would. Hell yes it would. Yeah, and somebody would probably buy this for 20, 25 bucks. So you're looking at a bit of a risk with this, but, you know, maybe worth setting aside. Part of it depends on how many, you know, gradable cards you pull out of the box. You know, if you only pull out a half dozen gradable cards, then maybe you do want to get that Ripken graded. If you pull out a dozen gradable cards, then you're probably not going to want to get it graded, you know, because you've got other stuff you want to prioritize for grading. And again, with this lower value stuff, I'm talking CSG, not talking PSA. Is it possible that we'll find a card in here that's worth sending to PSA? Doubtful, but it's always possible. Kenny Lofton. And some decent cards in there, Ventura. So, the thing about these videos is they get a little bit long, but I've noticed there's quite a variety of length of videos when it comes to, oh, there's a Griffey. When it comes to YouTube videos. You know, some people do the shorter ones. That's what they stick to. Some people do longer ones. I tend to do longer ones. Probably should do more of the shorter variety. David McCarty. There's an Alomar. That's a great card. Look at that. What a great photo. Not worth getting graded though. All right, so here's our first hit. All right, beautiful looking card. Probably just hit one down the right field or left field line. Looks like he's looking toward the gap potentially, or it's a home run. Pretty clean. Doesn't seem to have any issues on it. I always wash my hands too, so I don't leave fingerprint marks that I have to wipe off. Sometimes even the microfiber cloths can leave scratches, tiny scratches. So I'm gonna put that in sleeve. I don't have any penny sleeves left, so I have to be careful when I put this in, because even these Ultra Pros can scratch the card. So you just kind of want to carefully slide it in there. All right, ready for grading. Card number 619, 46 bucks. Let's see what its recent sales are on 130 point. Throw these away. So you always got to check 130 point. So we're looking at 1993 Ultra Ken Griffey Jr. Let's see, what do we come up with here? Looks like 40 bucks. That was an auction. June 18th, 50 bucks, auction, 40 bucks, auction, 46. All right, now of course that's PSA. PSA tends to resell at a little higher rate than CSG. But for me, I'm able to sell CSG slabs almost as well as I sell PSA slabs. I underprice them a tiny bit, but like for this card, if I put it in a CSG slab, which I will, I'm gonna put 40 bucks on this, and somebody will probably offer me 30, and I'll counter with 33 to 35, and yeah, there you go. I've already made back, well, if the box was 25 and the grade it was 10, that's $35. Just on this one card I end up breaking even. Now I've got to be able to sell it. That's the hitch, or that's the trick. You got to make sure you can sell it. But overall, if I don't sell it, I'll keep it. It's a great card. That's a pretty high quality foil from back in the day. Okay, here's an Eckersley career highlighting, or career highlights. I think he's the greatest reliever of all time. So I don't know what that card's worth. It says card number 8. I don't think it's card number 8. No, so I don't know what that's worth. So I'll have to set that aside and see what it is valued at. I was going through some cards earlier today and found a Pat Mahomes. There's a Winfield, Hall of Famer, St. Paul guy. That's a great card. Look at that. He's a big dude. He was 6'6". I met him one time. Asked for his autograph. I said, Dave, can I get your autograph? This is at Old County Stadium back in the late 80s. He was still with the Yankees at the time. And he looked at me and he said, call me Mr. Winfield. So he was a little cocky, a little bit arrogant, but at the time he was one of the top players in Major League Baseball. When he was with the Yankees in the mid-'80s, started up with the Padres. Yeah, a tiny bit of stickiness here, but not too bad. Pags. Pagliarulo. Wade Boggs. Great hitter. I know some people who are Boggs aficionados. They're like all about collecting Wade Boggs cards. For some reason, his cards just don't appeal to me, the look. I don't know what it is, but I just have never really been a huge fan. Of course, his rookie card is good. His 83 tops. Oh, here's a Bonds. Nice card. What's the number? 483. $10. Now, why that card is $10, I have no idea. Oh, I know why. Because the last sale of the card in a PSA 10 was 2019. So let's go to 130 point, our trusty 130 point, which you always have to do. Let's see what the recent sales are on. Oh, there's my dog. Just scroll down here a little bit. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything. I mean, I'm seeing a PSA 6 for $269. Yeah, not seeing anything. So that might mean that there aren't a whole lot that have moved. So that tells me a couple things. One, it's worth getting graded because the pop count is probably pretty low. Oscar, you got to call the dog back in. She's just barking at Jude. Yeah, when she does that, don't let her out. Let's see what the pop count is on that card. Sorry about that. All right, what's the number? 483. 14 in a Gem 10 of 36. So 36 have been graded, and there are 14 that have been graded as a 10. And I'm not seeing any currently for sale on eBay in the base. So worth getting graded? I'm gonna say yes. Bonds cards typically send resale decent. Not probably as well as Griffey Jr. or a Bo Jackson even. But the thing about Bonds is he's not in the Hall. And if he gets voted into the Hall, his cards are going to skyrocket in value. Part of the reason why his cards are a little bit suppressed has nothing to do with his performance on the field. It has everything to do with the fact that people feel like he was cheating, which I'd be very curious to see what your comments are on that. Here's a Molitor. That guy was a hitting machine. Let's see what that's worth. $645. 15 bucks. Probably not worth getting graded. Dog's barking. It's okay. That's what they do. Part of their job is to warn and protect their family. We got a great dog. Two great dogs, actually. They're Vizslas. So they're Hungarian pointer dogs. They're very fast, very loyal. Charlie is 8 and Netta is 1.5. All right, what do you got in here? A little stickiness here, a little stickiness. This card, it seems to have a gold Oh, I guess it's the same as these other ones. It just looked a little sharper than the other ones. Kevin Mitchell. Haven't hit any significant inserts yet. Let's go approach this. Dan Plesac, Sackman, reliever. Good reliever too. Back in the late 80s, he was with the Brewers. Very nice reliever. Lefty. Threw a nasty slider. Here's a Tony Gwynn. You always got to check Gwynn cards because they're not consistent. So like this, the resale on this is $45 as a Gem 10. So as I look at this, I don't see anything immediately concerning. I don't see anything on the back. There are some big Tony Gwynn fans out there for sure. All-time great hitter, worth getting graded. It depends on how many cards get graded out of this box. Again, if there's only 5, 6, 7, I probably would send this in because the resale on it's $45. I'm not going to check 130 point on that one, but here's another Manny. And you can see this corner up here. Zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit bent. See that? What you do is you just gently bend it back. Will that gem out? Probably not. So, might not get it graded, we'll see. Some of these, it's not even worth even trying to separate them. Tino Martinez. Tino Martinez was a Mariner originally, but played first base, but did the majority of his most famous work as the first baseman for the New York Yankees. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is a cool card. Piazza. I think his cards are highly underrated. Is he on par with Johnny Bench? No. But if you compare his stats, they line up favorably with guys like Yogi Berra. And I've never done a head-to-head comparison between Bench and Piazza. I wouldn't be surprised if Piazza had a higher average and a better slugging percentage than Johnny Bench. I don't think he had more home runs than Johnny Bench, but I could be wrong. But this is an all-rookie insert. I don't know what the insertion ratio is on these, but I'm definitely going to get that graded. Just because I like the card and I don't have any graded Piazza. Jim Abbott, for those of you that aren't familiar with Jim Abbott, only had one arm. Well, he had two arms, but only one hand. Pretty cool picture. You can see how he had his gloves set up. He was actually a pretty good player. His disability in no way prevented him from being a good pitcher for a number of years in the major leagues. So again, it's this concept of low risk, high reward. Here's another Eckersley. I think it's pretty cool that they selected Eckersley. Dale Murphy. I didn't know he played for Colorado. He has borderline Hall of Fame stats. I think he was a 2-time MVP. Fernando. With the Orioles. Wow. Didn't know he was with the Orioles. Oh my gosh, this guy. First off, is there a better leg kick than Daryl Strawberry? And what a great career for a period of time. I mean, they were calling him the next Ted Williams back in the mid to late 80s. And when he went to the Dodgers, I think that was in maybe 1990, 91. That was the biggest free agent deal at the time in the history of baseball. The drinking kind of caught up with him for sure. I don't know if he was into drugs in the same way that Gooden was when they were with the Mets, but I think Strawberry, just, got into drinking, a little bit of carousing and womanizing and that sort of thing, and I think it just took its toll on him. But had he stuck around and had a career commensurate with the first few years of his career, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he hit back-to-back seasons, 39 home runs back in the mid-'80s. Gossage, this guy, great reliever. Most of his years with the Yankees. He's a Hall of Famer. Bagwell, this is a rookie card. No, it's not. But definitely worth checking to see what it's worth. $12. All right, so definitely not something you want to get graded. Willie Mcgee, that guy was actually a pretty nice player. Goes back to the early 80s. Switch hitter. Could hit for average. Stolen base. Great defensive center fielder. Played for the Cardinals. Won a World Series in '82 when the Cardinals beat the Brewers. My beloved Brewers. All right, here's another Ripken. All right, I'm gonna keep going here. It's pretty tough. Somebody's got to do this work, I tell you. Opening up these boxes of cards, it's just really very stressful. That's a joke. Okay, got a ton there. So, what's going on in the hobby? A lot of people are talking about the National, which is in Atlantic City this year. Even if I was available, I wouldn't go. I don't want to fly into Atlantic City. If it was in Chicago and I was available, I might consider going. I've never been to the National, but a lot of people say it is the bee's knees when it comes to card shows and card events. Everybody goes and everybody will be there. Some people are speculating that a lot of folks are saving their money and holding back because they want to have money available at the National, which makes sense. On the other hand, for people who aren't going to the National, which I'm sure there are quite a few people that aren't, they might be spending their money just as they normally would. So, but there's the National. I'm trying to think what other news. CSG is increasing their grading fees. They're also going to be decreasing their shipping fees, which is nice because their shipping fees tend to be a little more on the spendy side. Definitely not a huge fan of that. You got to get your orders submitted by July 5th in order to get the current rate, which is, I think, $12. These are bricked up a little bit. Chuck Knobloch. He was a nice player for a while. Kind of a jerk, though. Minnesota Twin. So yeah, the CSG prices. I personally feel like CSG slabs are the best slabs in the business. I think their acrylic is the best. I think they're clear and there's no way to really hide any defects with the CSG slabs because they're just so crystal clear. I'll put one up against a PSA slab here in a second. Harold Baines, yeah, tough one. Mostly a DH. Probably should be in the Hall as a DH, but Canseco. This guy, a lot of hype about this guy in 88. He was big time. Greg Jeffries. He actually was a pretty decent hitter. I think in like 95 he hit like 324 or something like that. So he did have some seasons where he hit the ball pretty well. Let's see here. Brian Barber. Troy Lavello. Ooh, that one's pretty rough. Yeah, the glossy. What you really got to be careful with is like late 90s glossy stuff like Bowman's Best, even just the regular issue tops. I've had issues with like 97 or 98. And again, it really is condition sensitive based on how the cards were stored. If they were not exposed to high levels of variation of humidity and temperature, you're generally going to be okay. But because of this glossy finish, as opposed to the matte finish, even then you're still looking at some sticking and bricking of cards, like these two. Now you can tell when cards are bricked without even opening up the packs because they make that little cracking sound. And sometimes if they're bricked like hard like a rock, it like makes a loud cracking sound. Man, this one's hard to open. So these aren't too bad actually. Oh, that's a cool card. Ultra All-Star. Not going to get it graded because it's Juan Gonzalez, although at the time, that guy, he hit for some serious power. He was kind of like a 90s version of, who's that guy for the Yankees? Not Judge, the other guy. There's a Clemens. Kind of an interesting picture. Look at his face. It's like hidden. Again, also cards that are suppressed in value because he's not in the hall. So that's a $12 card. He makes the haul, that doubles to 25, in my opinion. Hippolito Pichardo. What a great name. Hippolito. Juan Gonzalez. Played on the Rangers with Rafael Palmeiro, Jose Canseco, and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. Can you imagine facing those guys? We talk about facing the Juice Brothers. Even if they weren't juicing, they would have been tough to play against, but they were on roids. Don't do roids. Don't even do creatine. Creatine is not good for you. It will hurt your liver, and it can make your balls shrink. And if you don't believe me, prove me wrong by commenting that it won't. Now, you will be able to bench press significantly more than what you typically do if you take creatine. You'll definitely bulk up, have the potential to get pretty thick. And there's another Clemens. That's 2 in 2 packs. But you know, you're going to do it at the cost of your liver and your nutsack. You definitely don't want to do that. So I would say stay away from creatine, stay away from steroids, just stay away from drugs in general that are not prescription. Oh, sweet. Edgar Martinez, Hall of Famer, DH, maybe top 3 DH history of the major leagues. 15 to 20. I'm putting this one aside because that might be worth something. I don't know if there's a real big resale market for Edgar Martinez, but if that's a rookie card, which I don't think it is because his rookie card's in the late 80s. But still, cool card. Set it aside. I don't know what the insertion rate is on those All-Stars. I have to look it up on Baseball Cardpedia. If you're not familiar with Baseball Cardpedia, check it out. Super valuable resource. It's got, boy, all the insertion rates, I like Cardboard Connection too, but Cardboard Connection, I don't know. They don't have some of the same detail that Baseball Card PD has, in my opinion. Jeff Conine. We're down to our last. Oh, we still have another 9 packs left. Well, we're at the hour mark. This is one of the longer videos I've done. Back when I started, I had long videos, like just long ass videos. But I've decided to do shorter ones. Most of them now are 10, 15, at the most 20 minutes. But this one, this one's a long one. Trevor Hoffman. This guy's a Hall of Famer. What's that worth? $378. $50. I don't have any of his stuff graded. Great reliever. Definitely set it aside. $50? $50 hits the mark for me. Now, if the resale value on that is like $10 as a 9, then I might have to think twice. But if the resale value is $15, let's see here. Trevor Hoffman. And again, yeah, $16, $16.50. This is back in October. One sold on eBay. So you get it graded. Put $20 on it. If it's a 9. If it's an 8, you didn't take enough time to determine what the defects were. Excuse me. So you got to use your loop. If you're not familiar with what a loop is, this is a loop. So you take it, shows you all the defects, all the corners and everything. So this is a must-have. You have to have a loop. I don't think you can really do graded cards unless you just don't care about the cost of getting cards graded. I mean, if you get a card graded and it comes back, it's a modern or ultra modern card, and it comes back in an 8, you shouldn't have gotten it graded, because an 8 is equivalent basically to raw. Here's a Nolan Ryan, 636. And stuff like this. Now, if you're talking about, whoa, 108, definitely getting graded. Definitely. That's got to go into a sleeve right now. Yeah, if it's something that's definitely going to get graded, you want to put it in a sleeve ASAP. You'd be surprised how many cards get dinged up just by fumbling them, at least for me. I had kind of butterfingers today anyway, as it is. So, yeah, so I mean, a loop is an essential thing. You should always look at your cards before you submit them. Unless they're vintage and you don't care what the grade is. I don't spend much time using a loop for anything that is really older than the mid-70s. You know, I've got to make a determination if I want to get it graded or not. And if I just eyeball it and I think it's not going to be at least a 5, I don't get it graded. And then there's the collector's grade, which for cards in the 50s, you're looking at a grade of 5 or higher. For cards in the 60s, you're looking for a 6 or higher. 70s, 7 or higher. 80s, 8 or higher. 90s, 9 or higher. So that's collector's grade, at least as far as I have been able to determine. So for these cards, you got to have 9s. And if you can't find 9s, then you probably shouldn't get it graded. Even that Nolan Ryan, which is $100 and some bucks. Because an 8 in that Nolan Ryan is probably $5. Oh, here's a cool card. I'm probably going to get that graded. I like that card. Ripken. So you're kind of getting a little bit of a sense of how I do stuff with the grading and the junk wax and oh geez. And if you're relatively new to the hobby or you're not super familiar with grading and that sort of thing, hopefully the videos that I do are helpful. Okay. Oh. Little breaking in that one. Man, I've been really kicking out a lot of videos this last week. This is probably my 4th one. And I've only cleared my throat one time. Somebody had commented a few episodes ago, hey, clear your throat again. We really love that. My response was, yo, who's we? You got a turd in your pocket? He didn't respond back. But I get it. I think I was a little sick that week. So. All right. Coming down to the final couple packs. Wouldn't mind another Griffey. Kirk Gibson. He was a 2-sport Division I athlete at Michigan State, football and baseball, and the 1988 World Series MVP. I had a lot of hype around this guy when he was younger. 88 was his rookie year. Ellis Burks. So I'm kind of excited. Tomorrow I've got some cards coming from BBCE. I bought 2 1990 Topps rack cases. So the night, oh yes, 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 yes. Look at that. What a sweet insert. Ah, that's the best card that I've pulled. That's beautiful. This is the kind of stuff you're looking for in this junk wax. So, I don't know. Let me look on 130 point and see what that most recently sold for. Oh, the corner's bent just a little bit down there. Gotta doctor that up a little bit. See, you're getting a good look at the inner workings of TE2 sports cards. Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. I don't know how if they look at the cards in the, I think this looks pretty clean. Even so, I'm getting it graded because even if it comes back as a 9, I love the card. I love Griffey's inserts. I think Griffey's got the best inserts outside of Jordan. At least for 90s stuff. It's simple, it's clean, great action photo after he's hit the ball. 17 to 20. Okay, so let's do a little looking on 130 points. See, I'm going to say that card in the gem tag is about a $60 card. That's my guess. So we go to 130 point. I'll move this stack of cards. Bear with me here while I do this. What is that called? Clear Ultra All-Star. All right, let's see what we get. Oh wow, the PSA 10 of the base is 105. Okay, so let's see if we can find the All-Star. Okay, so the 9 is 1850, and that's from April 30th. So if a 9 is 1850, I'm guessing that a 10 is right around 60 bucks. Yeah, I don't see anything graded. I see some raw ones. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to find out. And again, that's PSA, it's not CSG. So I don't want to give the impression that CSG and PSA are synonymous, because they're not. Although I think in time, you're going to see CSG cards worth every bit, CSG graded cards, excuse me, worth every bit as much as, back this up a little bit, as PSA. I think it's going to be a couple of years. Oh my gosh. But I do think it's going to happen. Some of these, it's not even worth it to try and separate them. Just look on the back, see if it's anybody good. If it's not, leave it as is. 2 more packs. If you're still watching, you are an absolute beast. Put a comment in the chat, and if you leave me a comment and let me know that you watched the whole video, I'll send you something. Put your address in there. I'll send you a card. Not even a contest. Just put something in the chat. Put your name. Contact me on eBay or Instagram. I've got my stuff in the details. Contact me on Instagram. Send me a message and I'll send you a card. I gave away a card on Sunday to a guy. It was a 1966 Philadelphia 6 CSG slab, Jim Brown. Dude, he almost started crying. I bought the card from him at a shop, and I was like, you know what? I know you really liked this card, and you had your eye on it, and I ended up buying it for $100. I told him, you can have this. He was so thankful. It was awesome. The last, always got to be the last pack, the hardest pack to open up, right? Now you start getting into this junk wax in the mid-90s, and you're talking Jeter, Rodriguez. I mean, there's some ballers in there. And the amount of inserts goes up further into the 90s you go. I'm telling you, man, 90s inserts are the shit. If you haven't really gotten into that vibe, I strongly suggest it. I don't buy insert singles raw off of eBay. I don't typically buy anything raw off of eBay. It's just too risky. But I know some people that do, and they've had some success getting inserts graded. So let's take a look, see what we got here. Final look through. Okay, so this Ripken. Maybe. The Hoffman, I'm looking at the side here. There's some chipping. Probably not. The Martinez, maybe. The Gwynn, maybe. Ripken, maybe. These, I don't even know what these are worth. This is getting graded. This is also getting graded. Maybe. That, that's an error card because there's no name on it. That's getting graded. And this, I need to find out what the value is on this. If his base card is 109, then this insert could be worth more than that. So definitely worth checking that out. So these These here, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Should I get these graded or not? I'll leave them here with Trevor Hoffman. The For Sures, we've got the Nolan Ryan. That's 100 and some as gem mint. The Berry, we don't know what that is because we don't have any comps or solds. But I'm going to guess you get that graded, 50, 60 bucks is a gem 10. The Griffey Base, this is over 100 bucks. And this, no comps or solds. So if this is 100, this is the base, and it's more common than the insert. I bet you this insert in a gem 10 is about 150 bucks. So this is all off of a $30 box of junk wax. Not bad. Not bad. I'd say these are 4 hits. For sure 3 hits. These 3. The Bonds is a 4th. If one comes back as a 10 and the other 3 come back as 9s, I've made anywhere from $150 to $250 if I sell these cards successfully. This one, these 2, I might even wait for the PSA prices to come down and do PSA on these. Although I think they'll look pretty sweet in CSG slabs. So anyway, that's what I know. Long video, 116 minutes, or 116, an hour and 16 minutes. But hopefully the information that I shared is helpful. And, oh, look at this. A 54 Henry Aaron, but it's been cut. All right. I hope you have a blessed night. Peace out. Get the peace sign there. And one love.